Hi everyone, welcome back to the Culture Bucket podcast, the universe's best and greatest podcast that everyone loves, with your two great good best friends, George and Alex. This week is another Black Mirror mini episode, as we are discussing all of the episodes of season 6 of Black Mirror. So I hope you enjoy that when we get into that in a moment. But before we get to the good stuff, I'd just like to remind you to please go and rate and review us everywhere you can. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, etc., etc. Tell your friends about us, get people listening. We'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you for more full-sized normal episodes after our summer vacation. I hear a rumour that Alex is turning pretty. I already did that last summer, so that's fine. Right, we'll see you in September. Love you very much. Enjoy the episode.
Finally turning pretty at 38.
It's never too late to turn
Never
pretty.
too late to turn pretty.
Okay.
Two friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two friends just made a podcast. It's called Culture Bucket. Two friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two friends just made a podcast. Culture Bucket, George and Alex.
So this is episode 117 now of Black Mirror. We're still talking season 6 of Black Mirror. We're still on our summer break, so slightly shorter episodes, but we hope that you're enjoying watching along with us, hopefully, and thinking about these episodes. We're now on to the third episode of season 6 of Black Mirror, Beyond the Sea.
Yes.
This episode is the longest in the season. I think it's like an hour. It's like a film, basically. It's like an hour and a half long. And is an episode. And I'm George, and I'll be talking to you about it. And with me is my co-host Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hi, George. Hi, everyone.
Hi. So you've not been having the best time so far with season 6 of Black Mirror. Let's see what you made of episode 3. Beyond the Sea. The logline for this is in an alternative 1969, two men on a perilous high-tech mission wrestle with the consequences of an unimaginable tragedy.
Yeah.
We've got quite the cast in this one. We've got Aaron Paul, the great Aaron Paul, as Cliff Stanfield, one of the astronauts. Josh Hartnett.
Hartnett!
Yes, seen also this year in Oppenheimer.
Wow.
Killing it recently. Is very good in this. Is very good in Oppenheimer. Well done.
I used to love this guy.
Yeah, man.
Virgin Suicides, he killed me there.
We've also got Kate Mara as Lana, Aaron Paul's character's wife. A pretty important role. Auden Thornton plays Jessica, Josh Hartnett's character's wife, less present. And then in a very small but pivotal role, Rory Culkin, brother of Macaulay and Kieran, plays Kappa, the murderer. The Manson style.
That's why he looks so familiar.
Yeah, he's a Culkin. We've got a Culkin up in this. In this episode. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. So this one, in the trailer before the series came out, this episode presented itself very much as being a space-based episode, and it is. But there's a twist to it because we've got Cliff and David. They're on a 6-year deep space mission in 1969. It's like a weird retro future 1969.
Yeah.
Instead of going to the moon, they're sending people off into deep space. But the twist is this. They are... what's going on? They've gone on this deep space mission. In order for their families to not be deprived of them, and in order to not go crazy in space, they have perfect robots, cyborg recreations of themselves left on Earth with their families. And when they're finished doing their work on the spaceship, they can get into a sort of chair and beam their consciousness back down to Earth to spend time on Earth with their family. A pretty great solution to the problem of, going crazy on a deep space mission. Unless something horrific happens.
Yeah.
And the horrific thing might be Josh Hartnett seeing his entire family murdered in front of him, and then having his cyborg robot body destroyed as well by a group of Manson family-esque murdering awful lunatics.
Yeah.
What did you think of this episode?
I thought this episode was good. I liked this episode. What liked? I prefer this episode to the other two.
Okay.
I feel like there was definitely more angst that I was looking for, maybe in the other two, but kind of it was interesting because when everything goes well, but then when Josh Hartnett's replica gets destroyed, I just felt so. Space is infinite and you're there by yourself in space. And I felt so. He must have felt so impotent not being able to save his family from this group of people. And it just felt really like shitty.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
Really bad. And then he can't. And then him being back up in space and not knowing that his family's dead, and there's not really any reason for him to come back down. And his colleague still manages to go, played by Aaron Paul, still managed to go up and down and see his family.
That would make it so much harder, wouldn't it, if you'd had that taken away from you, but you were with someone who was still able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it did make me feel anxious. It gave me something. And then when they decide, then Kate Mara, which is Aaron Paul's wife, Lana, decides that, says that maybe he should come to Earth.
In Aaron Paul's body.
In Aaron Paul's body. I was like, oh no, that's a bad idea straight away. So, it gives you some expectation of what's going to happen. And I think that's what I liked about this episode. It's kind of like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's not a good idea. That's really not a good idea.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a good idea because Josh Hartnett, he goes in Aaron Paul's body and he starts having, feelings a little bit for Aaron Paul's wife.
Yeah. And I think that's a very relatable, for all of the weird sci-fi stuff going on, I think the idea of falling for someone who isn't available and then looking at the person they are with and being like, but we're so much better for each other than this.
And it does look better because Aaron Paul has no feelings. He's just like this guy that keeps going up and down, but it doesn't seem to like his wife very much.
No, he's a bit of a cipher, isn't he?
Yeah, whilst Josh Hartnett is very lovely and he's a painter and he likes music and he wants to have sex with her, whatever. And then so it starts getting a little bit, more tense because clearly Josh Hartnett is not a nice guy, even if he seems nicer. And then the ending is devastating.
Yeah.
It's terrible because Aaron Paul says, you can never go back down and see my wife again. You're done. And then Josh Hartnett does something horrible.
Yeah, he does.
And I just felt, it just felt just so impotent of your body, what you can do. It just seems like a great idea that you can put your be up a space and then but still live down. But it just, the consequences are so fucked up.
Yeah.
That it just made me feel very anxious about it.
What did you think about the fact that we never meet any characters that are running the project? We never meet the people who are actually in charge of the space mission that these two are on. I thought it was a bit odd that, I don't know, there was no security for these two men and their families while they were up in space. And you never kind of see the world react to this. It doesn't feel like it's known news in a way. It felt very small scale.
Well, at the beginning, there's somebody that goes to David Ross and says, oh, thank you for what you're doing. You seem so real, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think setting it in this 1960s was probably the best time to set it because the security wasn't as much and people like Roy Culkin, Kappa, that killed the family were more thriving. I feel like the story doesn't really need any the other people.
No, maybe I don't know. The world just didn't feel fully fleshed out to me. It was all very self-contained, but I did I thought it was a good episode. I don't know that it needed to be half an hour longer than the others.
Yeah, maybe it was a little bit too long. I could have done it with being shorter.
Yeah.
I felt also like how, because they're on a mission, and I felt like he was working. Well, if you're on a mission for the United States in deep space, you're working for America, and he got totally abandoned by everybody. I think up in space, like his family died. In theory, he should have, well, not come back down, but there should have been something.
Well, that's what I mean by like why weren't there any scenes where you saw people discussing that? Like it felt like there was no one actually in charge on the ground of the mission.
Because it kind of feels like they're abandoned,
Yeah,
like
but is that intentional, or is that just a side effect of the script not really fleshing that out?
That I don't know. It kind of made me feel more like he was alone.
Yeah.
And so that's why, in a way, maybe it wasn't needed to have what's it called? Base control? No.
Ground control.
Ground control.
To Major Tom.
Ground control and Major Tom.
A couple of interesting tidbits from the NME article.
Yeah.
It was all shot on the Kent coast. Would you have guessed that?
No.
The sprawling countryside manor where Kate Mara's character Lana and her 2 children live was filmed in the seaside town of Whitstable during last summer's heatwave. So they were all wearing chunky cardigans like they were in the American Midwest, but they're actually sweltering in the British summer. And
wow. Sweltering in the British summer.
There was a heat wave. There was a heat wave last summer. It was horrible.
Okay.
And it was inspired by post-COVID life. The idea for Beyond the Sea, in which Cliff and his rocket ship bound co-pilot David used high-tech android bodies to spend time on Earth, came out of Brooker's own experiences beaming into work via web uplink during lockdown. It's the ultimate working from home episode, the ultimate Zoom call, he says.
Oh, yeah.
It was an idea that had been rattling around for a while in my head, inspired by the pandemic. It's interesting because I would never have made that connection, but it does.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes sense completely. I've now got some lower rent trivia for you from the IMDb.
Nice.
Yeah, let's see what you make of this trivia. The book that David recommends to Lana, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, was written by Robert A. Heinlein. It won the Hugo Award for Best Science Fiction Novel in 1996 and is considered a sci-fi classic.
Nice.
Good, interesting trivia. 114 people have rated that as helpful and 5 people have rated it as not helpful. Don't know how you would. By appearing in this episode, Aaron Paul is one of the few people to ever appear in 2 episodes of Black Mirror, previously playing the voice of Gamer 691 on Season 4, Episode 1, USS Callister. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
This doesn't even... Rye, the seaside town in south of England used as a 1969 USA town. That doesn't even grammatically make sense.
No.
Aaron Paul's character Cliff is seen wearing a very particular McGregor brand dressing gown. This is the same garment worn by Arthur Dent in the original TV adaptation of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh.
I like that. That's a good little bit of...
Nice.
Yeah, man. They then got something that just lists all the books that she reads in it. I'm not even going to bother reading that out. And they mentioned that the ship is 4.7 AU from Earth. It takes more than 30 minutes for light to travel that far, meaning their consciousness swap must be faster than light.
Wow.
How is it possible, Alex? It's science fiction. Beyond the Sea is the English language version of the French song Le Mer, played by Charles Trenet, which David plays during romantic moments with his wife.
Nice.
There's a blah, 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 blah. That's boring. That's boring. That's boring. That's boring. That's boring. And that's boring. So that's all of the IMDb trivia I'm going to read out.
Nice.
Boring. Boring trivia from IMDb. Thank you, IMDb. But overall, I thought this was a good episode. I didn't like it as much as the previous 2, but you liked it more than the previous 2.
Yes.
Would you say
definitely.
It's a good episode?
I think this is a good episode.
A good episode of Black Mirror. Nice.
Also, the acting was very good in this one.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. Josh Hartnett was great, and Aaron Paul is always great. And even Kate Mara was worth admission. She was good in it. You don't see Kate Mara often enough, I think. She's a good actress.
No.
So my ranking so far of the season is going like this: Lock Henry in number 1, Joan is Awful in number 2, and Beyond the Sea in number 3.
Okay.
Where have you got them?
I think Beyond the Sea number 1, Lock Henry number 2, and Joan is Awful number 3.
Different opinions on Culture Bucket.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you for talking to us about Beyond the Sea. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you're watching along and having your summer of Black Mirror along with us. And we look forward to speaking to you next week about Maisie Days. Why don't you come back then? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.